Hello everyone, welcome back. Savages here, coming back. The new part of What If Deku was hot. No, that's a different one. This one is What If He Wasn't a Comic Kill. Well, before I get right into it, don't forget to tell me down in the comments what do you think about this part, and let's just begin, shall we? Now where we last left off after Midoriya finally have healed up in the hospital in the Imperial capital, and then having a conversation with the rest of the Jaeger squad and reporting all the information he had to Esdeath. In the end, he asked humbly to join them to replace Dr. Stylish. And now, in the next morning, Midoriya wakes up in Esdeath's room because, of course, she wouldn't allow him to sleep alone. She is nowhere to be found, though, which is, thank God. It gives Midoriya some time to reflect on himself. He first takes a shower and then looks himself in the mirror on his body that is still somewhat bandaged up. A few injuries still didn't heal completely, but most of it is fine, though the scars on his body are clear, and he remembers his plan and just thinks to himself saying, "Sheesh, guys, did you really have to go hard on me like this?" As he remembers Leone and the rest of the nitrate squad just damaging him up just to roughen him up in a way that seems very convincing. As he remembers their plan, their cover-up story, which was that Midoriya basically takes the Imperial arm of Dr. Stylish, the broken one, and the cover-up story is as followed. Midoriya, after running away from Wave, he stumbled into Dr. Stylish that found him, and since Dr. Stylish knows that Midoriya probably have ran away and that Esdeath would want him returned, he took him with him, though not immediately returned him because he was following the tracks of Nitrate, and when he found their hideout, Midoriya stayed with Dr. Stylish watching, just to see his amazing work at display. In the end, Nitrate proved to be quite the challenge even for Dr. Stylish. In the end, Midoriya and Dr. Stylish were, well, surrounded. As a last-ditch effort, Dr. Stylish used his ultimate trump card and allowed Midoriya enough time to run away to report all the informations, while he stayed behind to defeat all of Nitrate. Eventually, Nitrate managed to kill Dr. Stylish while Midoriya running in the forest. He was being followed by a few members of Nitrate. They hurted him up, and after a very long battle, he managed to run away from them using the rivers. And in the end, after a day or two of just running in the forest and surviving, he finally managed to reach the capital, and some guards found him and finally delivered him to Esdeath. That was the story that he told them. Regardless, he walks out of the room and meets with everyone else in the morning. Every other member of the Jaeger squad, Esdeath and Wave, Kurame, Ron, Bulls, and of course Siryu that looks quite down. After all, she is the most affected by Dr. Stylish's death. While all of the group are just talking, chatting, almost like they're, well, just a bunch of friends, really nothing dramatic going on here. Eventually, Esdeath talks to Midoriya, telling him good morning and all of that was good stuff. But then she said that it's time that he finally meets the Emperor. She would like to introduce him to the Emperor. And Midoriya, well, he's quite surprised. He didn't expect to meet the Emperor so soon. But regardless, he just says yes, and right now, in front of the Emperor, in the Grand Hall, Midoriya is bowing his head down along with Esdeath, and, well, as even though he's bowing his head down, he can see it clearly with his spectator. He can see the Emperor and see the minister standing beside him as Esdeath proceeds to speak up saying, "Your Majesty, this is Izuku Midoriya, our new member of the Jaeger squad and my love. I humbly ask of you to allow me to add him into our ranks." As, the Emperor is like, I see you finally found the person you love. Well, that didn't take quite a while. I am happy for you, Lady Esdeath. General Esdeath. And I hope that you shall focus on defeating the rest of the nitrate squad. As well, she just said, well, of course, now that I have my love with me, I can focus all my power into destroying all of the enemies of the Empire. As, of course, the Minister Anna standing beside the young Emperor, he's like, well, isn't that quite the amazing news? I expect high things from you, and I hope that your lover over here is up to our expectations. Because if you General Esdeath is to pick somebody, it must be a very powerful ally. As Esdeath said, I assure you that Izuku Midoriya is very powerful, and he has potential to be a general that rivals even myself. I will make sure that his power is fully realized, and when that happens, he'll be a great asset to the Empire. As, of course, the Emperor looks at Midoriya saying, he looks also kinda awesome. I like him. What's Izuku Midoriya, was it? As Midoriya looks into the Emperor said, yes, your majesty. As he asks, saying, where are you from? You don't seem to be from around the Empire. As he said, yes, I am not quite familiar with your land, your highness. I'm from a faraway land across the seas, from the land of the rising sun. As he's like, ooh, what is that? As Midoriya proceeds to explain a bit of history of his land, a land across the seas, where the sun rises on top of mountains that covered in ice and, well, trees that flourish with pink petals, basically describing only Japan to him. Though Japan in an old era of time that is suitable with their time. And the Minister Anna saying, I have never seen such land. As Midoriya said, it is only understandable that you haven't. It's very far away from here. I myself came into this land searching for exploration. I am somebody who would like to see the world, and I stumbled upon your land soon after my ship crashed somewhere near the shores. I was the only survivor of my group. I plan on eventually returning, but not before my business is done here, because your empire have saved me, and I would like to repay your debt tenfold, and to help defeat those nitrates who have hurted your land and poisoned your people. As the Emperor is very pleased with Midoriya's speaking, as he said, you are certainly quite an interesting person, Izuku Midoriya. Very well, I welcome you into the Empire's ranks. I hope that you will be of a great asset as much as Lady Esdeath describes you to be. As Midoriya said, you will find that I shall offer you no disappointment. And so after they end talking, Midoriya leaves the place with Esdeath. But he wasn't just talking, he was focusing, looking at Minister Honest, that giant, overweighted pig. The look on his face, the way he eats and speaks, he's not even trying to hide how much he's corrupt. He saw disgusting peoples in his life before, but this guy is on a whole different level. Not to mention, Midoriya noticed something weird about him. One ring that he was wearing. Midoriya doesn't know it, but that ring seems familiar. As if he's seen it somewhere. Maybe he'll need to go check his books again. Regardless, as Midoriya and Lady Esdeath are walking down the halls, she said, you were very good back there. Nice speech you gave the Emperor. I have a few no's, but it's a good start. As Midoriya said, it was a little intense, I'll be honest. As Esdeath said, well, it's understandable. Standing in front of authority such as the Emperor and the Minister Honest could be a bit intimidating. But don't worry, as she held his hand saying, no matter what happens, I won't let anything hurt you. As Midoriya just feeling her hand on his, and he's just blushing while looking into Esdeath, thinking to himself, ever since he joined the Jaeger since yesterday, he also offered Esdeath a chance to accept her love, he's not really sure about it, but he'll give her this chance, and, well, she accepted it. But Midoriya really doesn't know how to feel about this. The way she's affectionate towards him is very nice and sweet, but at the same time, she's a monster. And this is all just an act after all. He's just a spy. You need to remember this. Regardless, as he's thinking all of that, Esdeath, of course, continues speaking, saying, "Well, we don't have anything today. Do you have any plans?" As Midoriya said, "Well, I was going to train," and Esdeath said, "Training is nice, but it's been a while since I've seen you, and you need to still rest your body. So, how about we go on a date?" And Midoriya said, a date?" And Esdeath said, "Anywhere you'd like to go? I have a few ideas of how we can spend our day." And Midoriya said, "Sure, what do you have in mind?" As Midoriya continues saying in his head, "If I can continue to please her, she shouldn't suspect anything about me. So as long as I distract her, it should be okay." No one seemed to be realizing that I have an Imperial arm of my own, at least for now. As, well, after a while, Midoriya and Esdeath continue walking as she takes him outside into the fields, and Midoriya looks at Esdeath as she goes into the ground and grabs a few flowers, those beautiful blue flowers, and I never knew she was into flowers. That's surprising. And he asks her about that as Esdeath said, "Well, I like these specific flowers. They're very beautiful, and they are very calming to the mind. I call them the blue devils." As Midoriya said, "Blue devils? Why is that?" As Esdeath said, "You'll see." As she proceeded to pick a few flowers and asked Midoriya to pick with her. After they picked a few of these flowers from the garden, Midoriya and Esdeath proceed to go again to the dungeons, and Midoriya is a little worried where is she taking him. Eventually, in the dungeon, she opens a door with a bunch of locks, and inside, Midoriya just sees a bunch of tortured souls tied into the walls, wrapped with, well, spikes and bloodied and just suffering, still alive, yet might as well be dead. And Midoriya goes sick for a second. He grabs his mouth as Esdeath said, "I wanted to try a few new torture methods, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in joining me?" As Midoriya takes a step back, and he thinks in his head, this is her idea of a date? As Midoriya looks into the guy in front of him, as Esdeath takes his hand saying, "This is one of the soldiers from the Revolutionary Army. We found him sneaking around the Imperial capital a few days ago. He doesn't seem to be spilling any informations at the moment, and saying that he knows nothing, but those Revolutionary Army soldiers definitely know something. So he was given to me in order to extract those informations." And Midoriya just said, "Extract the informations?" As Esdeath continues saying, "Indeed." And then she picks one of the flowers from the bouquet that Midoriya has brought with him. As Esdeath said, "Remember what I told you about these called being the Blue Devils?" As Midoriya said, "Yeah." As she continues saying, "Well, that naming is not just for show. They may be beautiful on the outside, but they are very deadly. Their petals contain a special sort of pheromone and, not to mention, aroma, and a little sticky substance that, when rubbed on an open wound, causing agonizing pain and suffering." As she picks one of the petals from the flower, as said, "Wanna see?" And she basically rubs it on one of the injuries of the guy hanging from the ceiling via his hands, and Midoriya just hearing the guy yell and scream in agony as Midoriya just takes a step back, trying to cover his ears. This is sickening. sicking him on a whole different level. As after a while she stops and the guy he doesn't even have any more tears to cry, just blood dripping from his eyes. The guy doesn't have eyes. He doesn't have teeth. He doesn't have fingers. He even got his legs chopped off. And it's just burn marks and injuries all over his body. As Esdeath said, well, are you ready to speak now? As the guy can barely even talk. He's just trying to mutter words, but even these words are not coming out of his mouth, because when Midoriya looks closer into his mouth, he doesn't even have a tongue. What did she mean by trying to interrogate this guy? This guy, even if he wanted to say anything, he can't say anything, because she took his tongue out. And now he realizes it. That's the sick joke. She chopped off his tongue so he wouldn't spill anything. And as long as he doesn't spill any informations, she can keep torturing him all she wants. As Midori is just about to throw up. He feels like he's about to throw up his entire stomach, but then he's brought back into reality with Esdeath saying, "Come on, try it yourself." As Midori said, "You want me to?" As Esdeath said, "Come on, I'm sure you'll get a feeling for it. The first time is always the hardest, but eventually you'll like it." As Midoriya just picks one of the flowers as he stands in front of the guy that's just weeping, making noise that is just very he can't even fathom what he's saying. But as he looks into this guy who was supposedly one of the Revolutionary Army soldiers, one of the people on his side, he remembers what Najinda said. He might need to do things he will regret, things he will not live with himself knowing that he did. And Midori just gulps his throat. He's already here. He is the one who threw himself into this thing. He's the one that asked to be here. He can't complain now. And so slowly he moved those petals into one of the guy's opened injuries, and so he starts yelling in pain and agony. As after a while he stopped, and Esdeath is very pleased. She's blushing and she's really happy to see Midoriya's, following in her little footsteps as she hugs him from behind, saying, "How did that feel?" As Midoriya said, kinda creepy. As Esdeath said, "I know, right? Eventually you'll like it. Okay, here are a few other things I'd like to teach you." And, that's how they spend their date, to say the least. Midori just watching as Esdeath teaching him all about human anatomy and torture methods. Just such a disgusting topic that he now knows all about. Information's in his head that will never leave, that's certain. Regardless, the next day, Midoriya and the rest of the the Jaeger squad gets information from Minister Honest about monsters that are running rampant around the outskirts of the Empire. And those monsters seems to be killing people, soldiers, and, villagers alike. And Midoriya and the rest of the Jaeger squad were tasked with capturing a few of these monsters, while simultaneously killing as much of them as possible to ensure them not hurting anybody else, which is Midoriya can get behind. It's a normal mission to protect the people. And so Midoriya and the rest of the Jaeger squad go out into the hunt. But there is something weird. When Midoriya first sees those monsters, he's right now following an Esdeath. After a while, they are just destroying a few of these beasts, but Esdeath froze 3 of them. And when Midoriya looks close at them, he said, "Wait, those are Nomus?" As Esdeath looks at Midoriya saying, "Nomus? What are those? You know what these are, Izuku?" As Izuku said, "Yeah, I seen those before. I dealt with one of them when I first came to the Empire. It was one that had wings, and his brain was also exposed like these ones." As Midoriya said, "No, it wasn't like these ones. the ones that I seen before from Hosu was different, but these seem similar to that one. As Esdeath continues saying, well, it only makes sense. I guess the doctor was experimenting with a few danger beasts and humans, and Midoriya thinks saying the Doctor Stylish make these, but that doesn't make sense. What about that flying Nomu? Ever since he got into this world, he hasn't seen that creature. He's very sure that that thing came through the portal with him. But if that is the case, then does that mean that Dr. Stylish has been experimenting on humans and basing them off of the Nomu? It only makes sense if these creatures look almost identical to the one he's seen before from Hosu. But I guess he was testing with danger beasts and humans since they technically don't have quirks in this world. This is disgusting. Even here, those monsters keep following him and taunting him. Well, at least Dr. Stylish is dead now. No more creating of these monsters in this world. But it only means that he's gonna need to kill as many of them to ensure whoever poor souls that were trapped in these disgusting bodies can be freed. In the end, Midoriya and the rest of the Jaeger squad returned to the base. Nothing much happened other than that. And after which, Midoriya, again the next day, him and Esdeath go on a different date this time. This time Midoriya takes Esdeath out for a little, well, normal date. A date that he picked. Though Esdeath was hoping for something a lot more exciting, but she still, wanna see what Midoriya's into. They first go around shopping a little, and, well, Midoriya looks at Esdeath because she have picked quite the special outfit for him on this occasion. He's waiting for her on the, outside of the room to see what she's gonna be wearing. And when she comes out, Midoriya looks at her and she says, "So, what do you think? You like it?" As he see her wearing such a beautiful dress with her hair all beautiful and luscious, falling almost to the ground, and with a little blush on her face, which also caused him to blush a little. He has to admit that she looks pretty. Eventually, she wraps her arms around his arm, pressing her body against his, as she said, "Well, let's go. I'm very excited for today." And Midoriya said, yeah, sure." And so Midoriya and Esdeath just leave the castle to go out and just have fun. And this one gonna leave it off, guys. Don't forget to tell me down in the comments what do you think about this part and what do you think happened in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say than Severed was here.